Good day and welcome back to another week of Talking Technical. And we are starting to see a very interesting pattern in our reader group. And this is now readers from the Candle of the Day and even some speculation members. It looks like that artificial intelligence is trying to get its footing on charts. But I heard a very interesting article or a chat the other day that of one of the big jobs that artificial intelligence will not be able to conquer in time to come is the world of emotion. And the candlesticks that we are also covering week by week is nothing else by reading the emotion of the market. And we're also picking up it in our membership. There's some younger readers that's coming in and they suddenly wants to subscribe. And I'm talking about younger readers. It's people in their 30s, late 35s in that area. And then, of course, we get the guys that is well above 60. They want to keep themselves busy and they want to learn about monitoring their own finances. And the reason why they're doing so, they've got one difficult question in their mind. If artificial intelligence is just so good, why do I get so many stop losses? And what usually happens is the robot calls the share to buy at a certain point. It tells you it cannot go lower. And then when there's emotion in the market, suddenly the market goes lower. And let's say in this case, let's just take, and I'm taking some of this chart of Costco. If you look at this chart, look at this chart there. There's the trend line telling you that the share is going down. The momentum is to the downside. And what will happen? The robot will probably tell you, listen, France, you need to buy when this resistance line turns into a support. It will tell you, listen, there is your stop loss level. And there you are, because they will say just below this level of $803.28, you will know that you're wrong. And what happens? The share looks beautiful. You buy it there. And just a day after you thought that you are correct, the share goes lower and it stops you out. And that's one of the failures of artificial intelligence. Yes, it is clever. Yes, it can make you a lot of money. But on the other hand, do you really want a robot to decide everything for you? And you just sit and see that your money grow or even um, decline? That's not the idea. I think we're not that far in the world from people saying, listen, we need to take a little bit control of our own lives and even of our own finances. Yes, I know what they call fintech is big in the world. The use of artificial intelligence in all these big funds is fantastic. But I can tell you that will only be fantastic until the emotion of the market show them a dear lesson. I've been in the markets for many years, and sometimes you are full of confidence and you believe that you cannot go wrong, and before you know, you are wrong. And that's exactly the old story. Emotion of fear and greed drives markets. So let's go back to the old story of talking technical. Let's look at the informed capital, because candlesticks is nothing else than following the art of the informed capital. And informed capital, they barely lie. They always spot on because they know what they want to do. And look at the company Costco. This is one of those big companies in the world doing retail. They are well known. There's nothing that can stop them. And if I look at this chart, there's an ugly rising wedge developing. Yes, it's time to maybe work inside this wedge. Look at your 50-day moving average. And yes, there is a tiny little bit of a waterfall formation, but I think my guideline is sitting with this 50-day moving average. While the share is above it, it can easily go higher, but I want to warn you, if you look at the S&P 500, if you look at the Nasdaq, for months on now, it is just green, green, and green. Now, if those indexes are just green, green, and green, and you start seeing shares making lower highs, it's maybe not that green forever. Because if I look at this, it makes me a little bit nervous. But inside this wedge, always remember it can remain inside this wedge for much longer than you can ever imagine. So yes, people will say, France, but I'm going to short below this 50-day moving average, although I see this rising wedge. Remember, a rising wedge is nothing else than a warning formation. You can definitely do so. And what I always do, let's say you go short there, you just watch that line. You say, listen, if it goes below that, I'm happy. But on the other hand, look at the moment, it's above the 50-day moving average. So I will not touch a short. I will only touch, if your book is okay and you say below the 50-day moving average, only short below 875. But I usually wait for the company to get close to the support line before I look at shorting it, because right at the top against the resistance line, that's the place to short. But to short it in the middle. But I did find some people say, France, but I want to short it below the 50-day moving average, because we know the rule book says above the 50-day moving average, the momentum is to the upside, and below it, it's to the downside. So let's just have a look here. If you want to short below the 50-day moving average, where's your stop loss? And that is the problem for me. If you take that, let's say you take the high of that candle is sitting at 893.49. Yes, that's your stop loss. But look where you are. You're right in the middle of a rising wedge. So I'm sometimes wondering, why would you like to short a stock or even go long a stock if it is in the middle of a falling wedge or a rising wedge? Yes, you can make a decision close to that. I mean, a few weeks back, we had that classic indication of, I think, Reinet. Reinet was close to 400 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. It was on a strong support line. Let's just have a look here while we've got the time, because it's quite interesting to talk about that. If you look at Reinet a while back, I just want to get the line in for you, then you will see what I'm seeing. Yes, there was a classic line there. There you are. There was the line. And that was around, yes, 435. And every time that it got to this support line, it bounced. Even now, it looks quite interesting around this level. But what happened? Close to that line, you could buy it. You had some nice upper shadows, and it gave you a beautiful relief bounce. And why did I want to look at it at that point in time for the viewers? The viewers were quite safe, because if you look at it, let's just see if the stochastic also played along. It looks like it turning out to be a training session today. Anything else? I just have a look here. Oh yes, there's the clue. Now I can understand. 1433, that's the one that I'm using. There you are, look at it. At that point, at the support line, we saw a beautiful positive divergence on the stochastic. And what happened? It bounced all the way beautifully from, let's say, 435, 436. And it went almost to this line of 495. And there's another lesson. If you draw a line in here, and that is your target, and you get close to that line, and you see that the stochastic is high, and you haven't got a medium to a long-term view, lock in the profit, because you can always find another opportunity. Like even now, it's nice and low. It can give you an opportunity that it is almost oversold. So yes, and what do we see here? We see a beautiful tweezer bottom developing. Now that's interesting for me. And where's the level where it will sign positive, will start to show positive? Above 465.86. And look what happened. Just below this line, it went down. So your robot, if you are keen on artificial intelligence, probably told you, buy it exactly at the support line. And where's your stop loss? Oops, there's the stop loss just below that, and it wiped you out. So I'm thinking that we're getting to a place where everything is so easy, but not that easy. So, well, thank you for watching the show. I think we went through a few things here. It was more than training today, but it's nice, because that is exactly the idea of this show. It's to teach you about technical analysis. To get you bogged onto it and love it, so that you can live this passion. Yes, and like the other day, a guy said to me, you know why, Frans, I'm carrying on with it? Because I love it. And that's exactly that. The informed capital is telling you beautiful stories, and the only thing you need to follow is to do that. But please keep in mind, don't fall into the trap of thinking that robots will do everything for you, because eventually robots cannot read emotion. Thank you for watching the show. Visit our website www.fransdeklerk.com for more info, and we will chat again.